Hey, it's Jody Taylor of SnackySays.com. Welcome back to my podcast. Today we're chatting about money, honey, specifically annual memberships and subscriptions. We're actually going to talk about some monthly ones too. So just for definition, make sure we're all on the same page. When I'm talking about memberships and subscriptions, those are services or products that you're paying for monthly or annually. So think of streaming services like Netflix, or maybe you have a group membership, or like I have a sticker, I'm going to call it sticker of the club, but I don't think that's what it's called, membership with Christina Yu's Cherry Human. So every month I get a new cute sticker and a really cute postcard from her. And I've upgraded because I started out with just her audio newsletter, and I'm probably going to upgrade again at some point. I pay for that monthly because she doesn't have a yearly option. So that's what I mean when I say membership and subscription. It's a product or service that you're paying for, and most likely you're not cutting checks. It's probably auto pay or auto renewal. So I'm actually going to read something that I heard in Kirsten and Julian Saunders' podcast a few months ago now. The podcast is Rich and Regular, and the episode I'll put in the show notes, but it was called Subscription Overload. And the quote is, Americans spend $219 per month on subscription services on average. What's worse, people guess that number is closer to $86 when asked. So how many subscriptions do you have? How much do you think you're spending per month or per year? I will go first. I have 17 annual subscriptions. I have a tracker, annual memberships and subscriptions tracker that I'm looking at, and I can't believe it's that much, but yeah, I got 17. It's almost half fitness apps. And the rest is streaming and stuff like Canva Pro and Loom and like some domains and website hosting and stuff like that. So how much do I spend? I spend about $2,000 a year, give or take, on my membership and subscriptions. And that is pretty average year to year. Sometimes I cancel subscriptions or memberships, but not planned, but I tend to replace them. And so it shakes out to $2,000 a year. I do have monthly subscriptions and memberships, and that's 150% because they don't have annual options and there isn't a workaround. So for example, I pay for Apple storage. I haven't looked into it in a couple of years, but there wasn't a very straightforward way to pay. There was no way to pay annually. And unlike Google, I have a Google phone, and I pay for my phone, included in that $2,000 I just mentioned. I pay $420 a year for my phone bill. Phone bill shakes out to about $30, $35 a month, and I usually pay for it a year in advance or 6 months in advance, or like every 3 or 4 months, depending on what's going on. But I always run a credit. So that's my workaround. They don't have an annual payment system, but that's how I set it up. Why do I do this? Why might you consider doing this? Number one, peace of mind. So I'm just paying once a year, so I'm not stressed out. There's no money coming out automatically every month all over the place. I know exactly when it's coming. Again, I have a tracker. This tracker that I use, I made it for myself and I put it in my Etsy shop. I'll put a link. But before I made this tracker, I used a piece of paper very similar to this. You just write out every month, and under that month, write out what's due that month, if you're paying annually. Paying annually. So I can look on one page at a glance and say, all right, I have nothing due in June. In July, I have 3 subscriptions coming up for renewal. Do I want to renew? Is this something that I'm using? So this is my way not to lose track. And then I also have things on here that don't renew until 2024, because there are some things like website hosting, usually having to do with some kind of internet service. Well, they're all internet services, where it's like, okay, I'm getting this website hosting and it's a 3-year deal. So I keep note of that because I don't want any surprises. Actually, I think I might have spoken about this before, but I had a domain hosting site that I had canceled, but they still had my credit card, and lo and behold, I got charged almost like $200. It was a bit of a mess. But because I had all my records, check out these checks, because I had my receipts and I had everything in order, I was like, no, we're not doing this today. Give me my money back. Yeah, so I think I've covered what memberships and subscriptions are, how much I'm currently paying a year. Oh, I wanted to talk about how I manage this. So it's $2,000 a year, but I'm not paying it all at once. I have months where I'm not paying anything, and then I have other months where it's like I must have been on a spending frenzy because I'll have like 4 things that are renewing that month. So how I manage that is I have a separate bank account where I just put money for annual expenses. So every time something is coming up, I transfer the money from that account into my checking account, and that's how it gets paid. So depending on what's going on, I might put a whole bunch of money and be like, okay, I'm going to throw $500 in that account. I don't know, maybe that's not a lot of money to you, but I'm going to put $500 in that account, and I know that's going towards the $2,000 of annual subscriptions or memberships that I have. So the stuff that's monthly, it's the same thing. Now, my monthly subscriptions, and this does not include living expenses or anything like that. It's purely subscriptions and memberships. So monthly memberships and subscriptions come up to $30 a month. And again, these are things that I don't have an option. I don't have a yearly option. Or they're one-offs. So something like Audible or Kindle Unlimited, it's not something I want all year, but maybe they're having a trial or a deal and I can use it for 3 months. That's fine. But it's that magic number. Even when I cancel things, it's like something else will swoop in or come up. And I settle right at about $30 a month. There's a channel that I have connected to my Amazon Prime. They don't have BritBox. They don't have they don't have a way for me to pay annually through Amazon Prime. So I pay that every month. I think that about covers it. I don't even know if I can articulate why I get so excited about this topic, except to say, once I decided on, several years ago now, I took a hard look at my money and budgeting and just changed the way that I did things. And the greatest thing that I got out of it, there were many things, but the greatest thing I got out of it is setting myself up for a sense of peace and being on top of things and not having bills spring up on me and spending in line with my values. Like, yes, I have these 17 subscriptions, but again, half of them are fitness apps, like Millionaire Hoy, Sara Beth Yoga, Jordan Yeoh. I don't use his app enough. I love his workouts. YouTube Premium. Ugh. That's a love-hate relationship. So I listed all these fitness apps. I do a lot of my workouts on these fitness apps, paid fitness apps. I would say I do a solid half or more, though, on YouTube. And YouTube is where I discovered these folks that I'm now paying for their fitness memberships. I like short workouts. YouTube was killing me with the commercials, and so I almost felt painted in a corner. I'd be in the middle of a workout or 2 minutes into a workout, and they would throw a Burger King commercial on, and it was like, come on. It was insane. It'd be like an 8-minute workout, and I kid you not, there'd be 3 or 4 commercials. I couldn't take it anymore, and I had to buy an annual membership. I'm counting that as a fitness app, so that's even one more fitness app, because I mostly use it for workouts. And now I can watch longer YouTube videos without commercials, though. Really, I'm telling you, if it was a 5-minute video, they would give me commercials. Yeah. So I think that's about it. Did I have anything else I wanted to say? I covered monthly expenses. Well, not expenses. That's not fair. Subscriptions and memberships. A little bit about how I manage it, how I track it. And again, I'll put the link in the show notes to the tracker that I use. I'm looking at it right now. But you don't need this. All you need is a piece of paper, and give yourself an opportunity to look at the year at a glance when it comes to your annual subscriptions. And if you don't have annual subscriptions, you might want to change to annual just to save money. And also just to take a look at, well, second, take a look at your subscriptions that you do have, because it could be that you don't use them and you don't need them and you can just cancel and really save yourself money. Okay, I think that's everything I wanted to say. If I think of anything else, I'll do a follow-up. Do check out Julian and Kirsten's podcast episode on subscription overload. I thought it was really, really interesting, and I love this topic, so I was like really happy to listen to their take on things. All right, thank you for listening. This is Jody Taylor of SnackySays. Take care.